A Death Watch patrol in this area had heard of the massive attack between Jedi, pirates, and these mysterious red lightsaber-wielding enemies of the Jedi. These Mandalorians cut their way into the ship using a darksaber, an ancient Jedi blade, and their leader Pre Vizsla is intrigued by these creatures.
If they're an enemy of the Jedi, then they're a friend of mine. Load them up!
And when they return to the Death Watch camp, Vizsla shows that he understands much more about Sith lore than most.
I thought there could only be two Sith. A master and an apprentice.
They are able to replace his legs with standard-sized human mechano legs, and Savage is given a humanoid robotic arm. Pre Vizsla calls Maul into a meeting, where he explains how Duchess Satine and the pacifists, calling themselves the New Mandalorians, have destroyed their warrior culture. But the pacifist, powerful allies in the Republic and Jedi Order are able to keep Death Watch at bay. But they both have a common enemy in Kenobi, who is personally leading the protection of Duchess Satine and overseeing the combined Republic forces to oppose Death Watch. Maul quickly agrees to help.
Mandalore will be yours, and Kenobi, this Sith pretender Dooku, and all our enemies will fall.
Though when alone with Savage, he tells them that they will merely be using the Mandos as a tool to exact their revenge. Maul tells Vizsla that although the Mandalorians are very skilled warriors, they need a true army, supply lines and numbers of troops that Death Watch simply cannot provide. Their first step is to go to the headquarters of the Black Sun crime syndicate on Mustafar. They set up a meeting, and the series of events from here on out will display all of the wisdom that Maul soaked up from Sidious. While we also see how Maul would have preferred to do things, injecting more overt violence and bold takeovers, which he always saw as more fitting the role of the Sith, while tempered with a singular, unified long-term vision that these acts fulfill, like Sidious advised. After failing to give up their operations, Savage severs all of their heads. All except one, that is, who would remain as the puppet leader over Black Sun, a fellow Phaleen species to keep the appearance of autonomy. Pre Vizsla is excited to take this new combined army to Mandalore, but Maul shoots down this simplistic and naive response.
We have our army now. I have a plan to undermine Satine.
The army is weak. Your vision lacks clarity. Without us, you have no army and no reason to replace the Duchess.
This would be the first tremor through the Sith-Mando alliance, but from here they would take over several smaller criminal enterprises. Word quickly spread of this horned red devil that was taking over the Underworld, to the point that major organizations like the Pike Syndicate actually reached out and volunteered an alliance. This so-called Shadow Collective then went on to the planet Nal Hutta to make one of their most daring takeovers, offering the Hutts, the species that had been the leaders of crime for millennia, but had been so strong that Hutt space was considered independent from both the CIS and Republic. To this gathering of criminal nobility, Maul makes a simple offer.
Your lives, in exchange for Hutt space and everything in its borders.
There's a reason the Hutts have been dominant for so long. Some of the galaxy's best bounty hunters appear and start pushing back these unwanted guests. The toughest battle so far has them nearly driven off the landing platform, but Bo-Katan and a Mando reserve are able to swoop in and take out the guards. Fighting their way back into the meeting chamber, there was only one Hutt left. The others following what was likely a well-rehearsed emergency protocol in case of crazed criminal upstart, and they successfully made it to their escape craft and were already off-world. All but Aruba, who is tortured into telling them to go to Tatooine. When the Hutts see that they were able to easily take Jabba's palace, and that these unrelenting Sith and Mando won't stop until all the Hutts are dead or allied, the Hutt Grand Council gave in. For them it wouldn't be a full takeover, but a tribute of troops and supplies.
The mighty Jabba and the Hutt families have decided to join you.
Vizsla sees that Maul is plotting more than he's letting on, and is driven furious by the Sith's statement that Maul will lead the criminal underworld, while the Mandalorians protect him and his enterprises. Without exploding on Maul there, he waits and confides in Bo-Katan that these two horned monsters will soon be taken care of.
Mandalore will soon be ours, and Maul and his brother will be dead alongside the Duchess.